It's kind of funny because it's one of those things where like if I had decided I was just gonna like stop, like I was gonna put the brakes on the show for like earnest to like for like a season's worth, like I'm doing with the halfway point in Aquatope, like I'm gonna do with the halfway point in Spy Family. Though again, I think that's a better example because like I think it already worked that way when it released. But like doing stuff like that, or Snafu is a really good example. When I just stopped season 2 and then rolled into Licorice Recoil, and now that'll come back around to it for a climax after I finish the gays doing a big heckin' shootaroo. But like, it's funny. Like, we're not doing that with Gundam. But it does feel like I've done that, because I haven't been able to watch an episode of Gundam in like 4 fucking weeks. And I hate that for me. Especially because the internet is trying so goddamn hard to try and spoil it for me. I have everything muted up so hard. And it doesn't give a damn. Hey, hi-ho, and howdy, everyone. My name is Shannon Olshook, and it is finally time. It's going to be literally next week for you guys, but, like, finally time for me to sit down with some more Gundam. That's right. So this week, as the time I am recording this, episodes 11 and 12 will drop. You guys will get the finale stuff. That'll be coming here in just I was gonna say in a few days. It's Saturday, Sunday. Wait, it's a day. What day is it? It's Saturday. Yes, because Friday wouldn't be recording. Because sleepy boy. Anyway, yeah. So it is Saturday of the week leading up to the finale of Gundam for y'all, and I haven't gotten to watch a goddamn episode of the show since a bajillion years ago when I recorded all those videos. Yeah, I think it was like fucking 4 weeks ago, because I think episode 4 of the second season was out by the time I had started was doing the finale. Yeah, so it's been a second for me, and I've hated that for me personally, and because I don't know if this really translated in our viewership of the series, but I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. Again, don't get me wrong. I don't really give a shit about the big robots. I'm sorry, Ariel. You're lovely. You look gorgeous, sweetheart. But just, that's not really my go-to for the thing. However, I just threw up in my mouth. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. I'm mostly sorry to me, though, because I'm the one who had to feel that. Yeah, so I really, 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 really love these characters. Again, that's always the most important thing for me in any series, and I would say they understood the assignment, and I would say they did a big heckin' good with it. Like a real giant robot hand just doing a big slap upon your everything. They hit it where it counted. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed it, and I have been struggling not getting to watch more of it. I was originally wondering if I was going to be able to get a rewatch in before I did this, because I ended up bullying Jeff into watching the show along with me, but we only got through the first episode and a half, I think, before he fell asleep. It's not a mark on the show. He's just a very sleepy boy. Also, he didn't sleep. Sleep schedules are some shit, ain't they? Point is, so I did get a rewatch of the first episode. Well, no, the first episode and the prologue, and then we didn't see all of the second episode. I saw it all again. So there was that. Anyway, so I got that much, but I haven't really seen too much other than that. Yeah, I'm gonna talk for a little bit here in the intro. Again, I don't know if this is going to be its own little separate update video thing that I throw out beforehand, or if it's going to be the intro. I'm not going to explain which one it is, because if I do, I'm going to do the other thing somehow, like the first episode of Kill la Kill, and I'm going to look really, really silly. Yeah, so, I did want to quickly talk a bit about kind of where I am with regards to things before I hop on. I do want to get any potential spoiler talk out of the way and kind of in earnest before going into this. I don't know how much I would say is... There's definitely some things worth acknowledging, but I don't think there's anything that's been full-on blatantly outright spoiled, I would say. Just a lot of stuff that, again, has been very unavoidable because the show's obviously been getting a ton of love while I have been sitting here white-knuckling my chair waiting to watch the rest of it while I was starting all the new shows and playing catch-up and all that shit. But also, there's things worth acknowledging as we go into this. So we're going to do that. I also just want to talk a little bit before we get started, because, again, I like these characters, so I'm probably just going to boil down to me going like, hey, did you know I really like Suletta and Miorine? Anyway, fucking Miorine, no, it's Miorine. I'm not fixing it. I don't care. I'm not fixing it. It's Miorine. Fuck you. Anyway, point is, so quickly before we do get started, I do want to quickly acknowledge some spoilery stuff. Again, I don't have anything that's like really blatantly ironed out other than like the visuals for some things. Like I talked about it in the Discord, Elena, but like I've seen like a couple shots out of the ED. I have seen so like some visual stuff like specific outfits in a shot of Suletta and Miorine. There's a specific slightly, what again I assume to be very symbolic-y fucking thing from the, again I assume this is the ED and not the OP, but stuff from there. Speaking of outfits, I've seen a couple of different visual seeming stuff, especially it seems like, I mean with both of those too, but I feel like Suletta in particular might have some visual stuff worth acknowledging, but I guess I'll talk about it as we go, or I won't, because it won't really matter, because I'll be focused on other things, like how much I love them. Yeah, so that's a thing. I did talk about it going in, like earlier a little bit. There's some stuff in regards to, I would imagine the Aerie and the Suletta of it all that has me concerned, that has me questioning, because there's the difficult problem that is, there's the balance of what is... And you kind of have this in general when in regards to, you know, just like anime OPs or EDs and stuff like that. And things of like what is like symbolic and what is just, oh no, that's just a thing. No, that's just a real thing that's happening. And I don't know what the context is, so it's very intriguing and confusing and maybe concerning. So I have seen a not insignificant amount of art of those two put together. But even like that is like, you'd see, there's like elements of that in the original like OP, I would argue anyway. Or especially like in the first episode. But like the first episode ED, but like that doesn't really even count because like that one's different than the entire rest of the show anyway. I don't know. It's like the introduction to that character. So I don't really know. It's something we will talk about as we go, I suppose. But I guess the main point is if there is shenanigans on the... Shenanigan? Don't do that. Stop acknowledging that nickname. Anyway, but... I've never had a good nickname. No offense to everyone who's given me one over the years, but no one's ever given me a good one. And no one ever will, because you can't. There's no good way to give a nickname based on my name. Anyway, point is... yeah, so that is a thing that we will have to deal with. I know at least a little ways into this, there definitely appears to be some, again, what appears to be some, Prospera and, Miorine, definitely getting vibes of conflict is the way I would describe it. The problem is, again, is like, I don't have context for any of these things. I just have flashes and like the occasional, oh my god, oh fuck, and then I'm like, oh shit, and then I stop and I sprint in the opposite direction as soon as I see it. But like, so that's a thing. I would imagine somewhere around maybe episode 3 or 4. There's just I'm getting vibes of Prospera shenanigans. To what extent and to how bad and to the situation, I'm not sure, but it kind of definitely seemed like those two not being a fan of each other or something like that. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I would say easily the biggest thing of recent note. Well, not the most important thing, but definitely, again, the biggest thing. The two biggest things. Don't worry about that. Point is, holy shit, there has been an unfucking stoppable torrent, swath, a hurricane, a tsunami, a tidal wave. There's a lot of Cecilia art. It's fucking everywhere. And there's a lot of it as of late. So, yeah, I assume at some point over the last couple of... And, like, it seemed like to pick up in general... To be fair, she always seemed like she had a decent amount of art. It seems like people liked her even though she did literally fucking nothing in the first scene. She just sat in the background and was like, fuck you. Like, that was her entire personality and existence in the show. So, I don't know. It could just be the internet being really fucking horny. Which I completely understand. Even if that's not necessarily my go-to of the potential op. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so I don't know how much is just that, or it definitely, I get the vibe due to the significant uptick in it, or at least what feels as such, that she might be actually having some sort of role in this fucking show at some point. To what extent? I'm not sure. Did it apparently make people really fucking frisky? Apparently. Again, I realize for some people that don't take much. You just have to breathe in my general direction generally, and then it'll be like, oh, I love you now. Anyway, point is, yeah, so that might be a thing. And I would say probably the most recent thing that I saw, which again I would describe as highly concerning, isn't so much a spoiler in itself as much as I have been unable to avoid theorization from some people, because they would just sneak it into conversations where I'm just vibing and what? No, shut up! If I've seen it yet, shut the fuck up! What? No, shut up! So hi. I'm over here. You don't know who I am, but just shut the fuck up. Don't let me leave the room first. Anyway, point is, there were just some things. There one thing in particular of note of recent theorization that had me concerned. I constantly reference Ruby in relation to this show, and that's not going to stop. I know that it pisses some people off, to which I would say, fucking sucks to suck, huh? Anyway, like, no, I do it purely out of love. It's how I handle everything. And also, I have bad brain, and 90% of my existence is comparing things to Ruby. And when I'm doing it in a very positive way, that's a good thing. Yeah. So, basically, I was observing a conversation that seemed to be very Ruby oriented until it took a real fucking slant and a turn in a direction that I wasn't prepared for. And I was like, oh shit. Well, yeah, I hope that doesn't fucking happen. Why do you think that that's gonna happen? Anyway, so, this one I will keep mostly to myself, because it is a theory, and not actually something that, to my knowledge, has happened, unless it's, like, literally just happened or something like that. I feel like I would have been absolutely spoiled by some art or something at some point if that did happen. But, it would be a noticeable change. Yeah, let's say there's something in relation to people thinking things about Miorine, as of late, I would say, that, people have thought for a very long time about a certain Ruby character that might be a thing, eventually. And I would... The angsty side of me says, oh yeah, to both of... Well... I don't know about to both of them, because I have a lot of reasons to why I lean into the angst on the Ruby side of it. But not some. I don't know about the other one. I don't know about Miorine. I like Miorine. I want to marry Miorine. Don't do that. Don't do that. Point is, yeah. So we're gonna have to see how that goes. And I mean, if it happens, it happens, and we'll talk about it. If it doesn't happen, we'll get to the point where maybe it would be reasonable for it to make an appearance, and then I would, talk about it. Or at least, if for whatever it is that inspired people to come to the theory itself, I guess if it shows up for me, like it did for that other character in RWBY, then I'm sure I will mention it. So anyway, those are, I would say, the big things. And I've just seen, it's been hard because all of it's been art. And again, it doesn't matter where the fuck I go. It doesn't matter what I've muted. It shows up. Like, it'll just randomly jump at me and all fucking to and fro and shit. I would say that's pretty much it. I suspect there may be, I feel like there's one other thing, like, in relation to, like, oh my god, Sulemio trouble. No shit, of course there is. We just ended the fucking first season, and she exploded a man. And the other goes like, oh my god, you fucking scared the shit out of me. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, they're gonna have trouble. I'm sure they'll have more trouble later on, too. Which is what I'm referencing, is I'm sure that later on they're like, oh my goodness, what? And then, like, yeah, and fuck, duh, no shit. It's not even worth talking about. Like, that's a foregone conclusion. It's called conflict. It happens in a story. Anyway, point. I'm a writer, I know that shit works. Anyway, point is, yeah, so that's all stuff, at least worth acknowledging. Yeah. Seeing images of Eri and fucking, Suletta together. Lots of visual shit. Miorine. Anyway. Eye for an eye. Anyway. Fucking. Well, now I gave it away, didn't I? Point is, I gave it away to RWBY fans anyway. Point is, the Prosper Miorine shit. And I think that's pretty, and the fucking Cecilia everywhere. So, other than that, I don't think I have anything else really. Just in general, I guess I just want to acknowledge that, like, I'm really, really enjoying the show. Like, it's really been one of my absolute favorites of the stuff we've done since you've gotten back into reaction stuff. Like, obviously, RWBY's been number one when we got here Volume 9, but like Gundam's right up there, either like fucking 2 or 3, depending on how fucking Kill la Kill turns out, I think. But like, just I've really, really enjoyed it, which again was really surprising and fun, because again, I'm not in any way a big fighty guy, and there's definitely some big fighty, and there's some fighting in there which is completely boring that I don't give a shit about. Like some of the early fights with like fucking ghoul and shit, I just don't give a fuck. I could not care less. But there is some stuff, especially later on, that I think is actually pretty well done, and again, they're both well done, but it's like in a way that I personally give a shit about, like that it does something for me as someone who doesn't care about fighty and shit like that. But yeah, I would say that, like even with that aside, like just the characters are really, really fucking strong. It's a very pretty show. It's fucking, the music's fucking gorgeous. I definitely was noticing that by the time, I was making my way downtown, giant robots, and I'm going there. Anyway, point is, yeah, just, I was noticing a lot of that, especially just whenever, like, the thing, especially when the music would pop off for, basically anytime Suletta or Ariel were doing some wild shit, and they brought out the choir and shit. Like, they were having a good time with it, and I really dug it. Fuck. Yeah, no, I really am enjoying these characters. Again, Suletta and Miorine are arguably my number one, characters, I would say. Not just in the show, but just, like, in general through a lot of what we've had. Like, again, I've really fallen in love with characters like Anya. I cannot stop drooling over Ryuko. Yukino is gonna be the goddamn death of me when we get back to Snafu. And Ruby is... Don't even worry about that. That's a whole other fucking plane of existence. Don't worry about it. It's not even part of this conversation. It's not. I love you. Miorine, you are just discount wives, and I ended up... Okay, I do want to talk about this again, because I haven't really got a chance to talk about it, because I recorded everything in bulk. Again, I do want to apologize for anyone who doesn't really appreciate that stuff. I know most people obviously have gotten by through the first season. Like, you're well aware of how I work by now. Most of you. And there's, like... And if you've just been... in regards to been around the channel in general, you know this is just how I work. I'm one of those people who constantly relates things together, and different shows and characters and stuff like that. Well, this reminds me of this, and this reminds me of that. And it's never in a bad way. It's always in like, oh, this character has a bunch of things that are similar in them that I like about a different character, and that's one of the many reasons I like this character, is because, like, you know, I can relate to why that means something to me and why this means something to me, and how there's the little differences here and there and the similarities and so and so. And, you know, sometimes obviously it can be done for a lot of time. I use it as a joke or as a way to try and bully people into watching my favorite show and shit. But like, I pretty much always mean it in a positive way. Like, again, if I'm comparing something to Ruby, I'm doing that because that's my favorite thing. And, like, if something is giving me those vibes, that's a very good thing, because it means I like it, because it reminds me of a thing that I like. So again, when I constantly reference Miorine, being like Weiss, like, that's a very good thing when that's my favorite character of all time, you know? And it's many of the reasons why Miorine is someone I fucking adore in this show. Also, okay, one more before I move on to the rest of the conversation. Did you know that they're the same height? Because I just learned that a little after I finished the finale. I went and was talking, we were just chatting the fucking Discord and stuff, and we ended up dropping a height chart in the thing, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, and like, oh, Suletta. We were talking about the height difference between Suletta and Miorine, how cute it is. Yeah, we were just talking about that, and the hype chart, the type chart. Oh my goodness, Pokemon. Theme team. I gotta figure that one out. Fucking shiny Zigzagoon for Suletta. Anyway, yeah, fucking, the fuck am I trying to say? Dropped a height chart in there, and, you know, I was looking at it, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I'm like, you know, yeah, Miorine is really fucking short, isn't she? Wait a minute, there's a certain other character that I realized is very short as well. And I went and double checked. You've got to be fucking kidding me. God damn it. The list, it's fucking insane. Like, there's coincidence, and then there's just unapologetic plagiarism. And I say that in the best way possible. It really is. It's really, really funny to me, because again, it's my favorite character. So when you have this character that constantly has everything under the fucking sun that I can think of, like, it is so hard for me to find genuine differences between those characters outside of, like, well, one looks like they have a cockatoo on their head, and the other one looks like they have a loaf of bread. So there you go. There you go. You know, that's basic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got different colored eyes. And that's it. It's just, there's a lot of similarity there. Again, there's obviously also a difference, especially in regards to, like, the role that they play in the groups that they are in. and obviously the relationships, and one of them is a thunderingly heterosexual, just fucking menace to society. Like, just, she can't stop drooling over hot dudes, and it's honestly embarrassing, and it's very upsetting to me, because I'm not one of them, Weiss. What the fuck is wrong with you? Look at me. Ain't nobody ever drooled over me. It's not true. One person did. It was really fucking weird, and I don't know how to explain what it was going on there, but it was... I mean, I appreciate the confidence boost, but no. Anyway. And the other one... I still don't really know. I want to say Bicon. I want to say we're rocking with two Bicons here. Both Suletta and Miorine, right? Because, like, Miorine made it sound like, during the Shattuck talk and the too little too late thing, I was getting vibes of, like, hey, there was maybe a time when that would have happened. So, the assumption is, like, okay, she's probably down, she's probably down to clown with both dude and lady, I would hope, based on the shit she was already signed up for. Obviously not really through her intention, but, it was fucking Dingus, Mick stabs his dad and shit. Like, I'm sorry, he deserves better than that. There's actually one thing I really want to talk about with Homeboy here in a minute, too. Because I have a confession to make. That rewatch put something into perspective that I wasn't expecting to. I'm like, oh... That would explain why I was so much madder at him than everyone else was. Anyway. Unless I misunderstood the second time and actually had to write this the first time. But I don't think so. Anyway, point is, I think they both got that going on, right? That's the vibes I'm getting. I hope so. I appreciate the representation. I'm a terrible excuse for a bi guy. But, it's canon. That's real. I'll put Rosato's dick in my mouth. Like, let's do it. Anyway, point is, yeah, so that's all that. I fucking love them. They're both wonderful. Speaking of watching stuff, I did, while I was going through and getting screenshots, for everything. Yeah, this is definitely going to be its own video, huh? This is going to be like an hour-long conversation before we jump into season 2. I went, while I was going through and getting screenshots, for thumbnails and stuff, for the finale stuff, very similar to what I did with, the first couple episodes of Licorice Recoil, so that I could double check, things there. I finally went and, listened to some of the dub, of G-Witch, when I was going through it. Now, obviously, when I did my favorite scene. It's my favorite scene in the show. It's real good. Leave me alone. Shut up. Yeah, so I went back and listened through to the email me 3 times a day scene and shit. And I gotta say, I like it. I like what they have going there. I have to think back on it. I've already forgotten who the fuck is Suletta. I'm definitely not recording fucking... I'm definitely not putting this into the fucking first episode yet, considering apparently my internet broke. Anyway, which means I can't look it up there, so fuck me. Yeah, no, yeah, let me quickly double check, who they, of course, Weiss is my first fucking correct, you son of a bitch, you fucking simp, you absolute dweeb. Anyway, fucking the Witch from Mercury. What do you mean? I clicked the wrong button. BTVA. Gracias. Man. It is... Jill Harris and Natalie Van Sistine. That's right. Okay. I never did hear Brittany is Chuchu. Or Bren is Nika. Or Alejandro is Shattuck. I heard a lot of Elizabeth as Well, it's not true. Did I hear any of Elizabeth as Prospera? I heard obviously Elizabeth as Who's her fucks it. But not as Prospera, I don't think, really. I think I heard like one line from the first episode. No, because yeah, because the second episode she's doing a big heckin' talkaroo, and that's when Miorine is like, fuck all y'all, and everyone's like, oh no. Point is, I think I actually really liked Natalie from Miorine. Jill, I don't think really worked for me as Suletta as much. I think that's mostly, though, due to the fact that I'm such a fucking Kana super simp. And I think she does such a fucking fan. It's easily my favorite role of hers, which is saying something, because I have a completely unhealthy appreciation for Ichigo. Don't you worry about that. It's not a problem. Don't worry about what's in that framed picture right now. It's not, don't worry about it. You can't see it. And that's a good thing. Anyway, but yeah, no, actually it's more of a front. Anyway, point is, get it, but anyway, Kana does a really, really great job in that role, but I think Suletta is easily my favorite role of hers, which is also, again, like, I just got used to her as Maki in fucking Kagi as well, and she's fucking great in there. She does a good freak out being really well. It's pretty great. Also, this is, while I'm on the topic of dubs, Jesus Christ, after I finished Kaguya, I went and listened to the Kaguya dub in earnest, because I just kept not watching it until I finally caught up and everything, and again, and it's fucking magic. Anyway, it's just, I can't, I want Ian Sinclair to narrate every show all the time, forever. Narrate this one, please. Just, I want to hear him screaming like a giddy schoolgirl for no fucking reason. Like, during that entire converse, like, there are, like, she says, oh, you made 3 times, and he's like, oh my goodness, look at her, she's doing it. And, like, I want that, but for everything. I want him to aggressively, and then walk away from the microphone, and you can literally hear him leave the fucking booth. Just, fuck. He's the best. Anyway, point is, my point was, I think Natalie does actually a really solid job. I do still think I prefer Lynn between the two. I think she's absolutely fantastic. But I definitely think I prefer Kana. That being said, in that scene when fucking homegirl just rocks her in the fucking tits, and she just implodes in on herself, as much as I adore Kana, Jill nails that fucking moment. Like, she nails she nails the sound she makes perfectly. I don't necessarily love her in that role on the whole better. That moment, though, I just gotta say that she took it. She nailed that shit. Miorine nailed it directly in the titty. Anyway, point is, I enjoyed it. But yeah, I definitely pretty happy with my pick with the sub. Again, that Kano's performance as Suletta in general is just so fucking goddamn wonderful. Yeah, so all that. In regards to the other characters, I still really, really like Nika, even though I'm very concerned about that whole situation, the why Nika why of it all. I don't know how that's gonna go moving forward. Hopefully good ways. We love a good heckin' arc of learning, understanding, caring, love-imitation, and greatness, because she's cool. She's cool, and she's cute, and she's wonderful, and we want to love her. So let's not do stuff that gets people killed. Yeah? Yeah, baby girl? Yeah. Okay, thank you. There's that. I don't think I have too much to say about the rest of the squad. I think they're fine, like Martin and Chuchu and shit like that. Shadik, pisses me off. I'm done with this man shit. I'm sorry. I'm sure he has valid. Like, again, we've gotten to hear a little bit of his thing, and like I think there's valid something in there, and like I get it. Miorine's wonderful. I'm a fucking simp too. Like, absolutely on my knee. Mary, yeah, I get it. I totally understand. I understand, but it's the how we decide to do these things, man. And you just piss me off. You just irritate the shit out of me with everything that you do. Because there's so much room for you to be a cool cat, a cool cucumber, a real heckin' laddaroo. And you just refuse to because you're too busy fucking doing stupid shit every 5 goddamn seconds. Fuck you, Shadow. Stop it. Fucking stop that shit. Slap the shit out of you. Anyway, point is, he irritates the fuck out of me. Yeah, Cecilia, fucking a non-character in the first season, so we'll have to wait and see if she, again, things continue on here, as I suspect they might with her, so. Again, she's got a really nice design. I like her design. I get it, internet. Yeah, there's that. Fucking, I don't give a shit, really, about Ghoul's brother. Fuck his dad. It just die. I'm glad. Well, he did. I mean, he did so good. I realize I'm like a pacifist and don't wish pain on anybody, but he's a fictional character, so explode and die in a fire. A fiery explosion. Stab. Anyway, just like I don't much care for the man, so. The reason your son was an asshole anyway is 'cause you were an asshole to him today and then the other days. So get fucked. Anyway, yeah, so I don't really think there's anything really to talk about with him other than fuck him. I will take a moment to talk because in regards to I think me making comparisons to Ruby as well as just the judgments we make as we go through stuff. I do think Delling is an interesting character. I think Delling is interesting. I would like to make it abundantly clear going into this statement that I still do not like him. I don't know if we're ever really going to get past that point. Like, and I promise this isn't just because the discount Jacques jokes. Because again, as I even say in that finale episode, like, that's already did a thing that fucking little weasel would never ever do in a million years, which is, I don't know, do something nice and try and protect his daughter. Like, that would never happen in a bajillion centuries with that mustachioed fuck. Like, it would, like, it's just not how that character works. There is differences there. There's, I would argue, fucking Delling dropping like 5 cents on fucking Miorine's goddamn, like, fucking company. Like, even that alone, shit that fucking gremlin freak would never do. Like, it's one of those things where, like, there are positives to Delling that there aren't for certain other people's parents. I think there is positives to him. I think there's cool things to him. Again, I think he's got a pretty good design. You know, Lysander's shitty brother jokes aside, or uncle now, he's old. Lysander never got the chance to be old. Yeah, fuck. But fucking spoilers for a fucking however for the Pokemon game that no one gives a shit about the evil villain team. Yes. Idiot. Anyway, yeah, no, so fucking, like, I think there is value to Delling, and I think, as people have pointed out, and, you know, tried to give him credit where it's due, in the comments and stuff, like, I think there is credit to give. I do appreciate that there's a certain level of him working alongside Miorine to help her figure her shit out, even if, you know, maybe it's not as much as it could be, but, like, there's something there, and there's, you know, there is more to it. He's not just oh my god, I'm so sorry, a reprehensible villainous monster. There's, you know, it's a human being. just a really shitty one. Because I do gotta remind people, the murder was pretty bad. It's kind of hard to work around that one. That one's gonna be lingering. Like I said, I'm a pacifist. I realize I'll talk all the shit in the world about a fictional character that I don't much care for and shit, and But just in general, I'm pretty anti-murder. And there's a bit of that in that first episode, the fucking prologue episode. And it is his fault. He did do that, didn't he? Like, I just rewatched it recently. I'm pretty sure he did that shit. I mean, he didn't do it. But he was like, hey, Steve, can you do it? So I was like, again, I'm sure he thought he had completely valid reasons, as dumb as I think they are. Which I think they were pretty dumb. I realize this is some debate on morality and philosophy and shit, but fuck him. I don't, I think there is value to Delling, though there is definitely not a lot of room for me to... There's only so far I can take it, I guess is the best way to say it. I think there's credit where it is due. Still don't really care for the dude that much. Mostly on account of all of the murder. If it hadn't been all of the murder, I gotta be honest, you can recover from being just kind of a shitty dad. It's the murder that really does put a real fucking damper on shit. Anyway, so... I just want to talk about that because, especially in the last episode that I saw come out, people were talking about Delling and my thoughts and stuff. But I just wanted to kind of elaborate where I am with that. And speaking of elaborating where I am in regards to characters and how I might have reacted to them their first initial appearance. Oh, Bob. So our sweet camper boy himself. The crossover of this, I was not aware until people started showing me just how much fucking... laid back camp fucking G-Witch art there is, and I genuinely love it. I want that. I want that show. Please? Can we have that? Please? Now it really makes me want to jump into... I think I'm still trying to figure out what we're going to do after we roll through the end of Spy Family episode 12. Which show I want to start up, because I want kind of our next batch of shows to be a lot of like sequel series and stuff, so we're gonna clean a lot of those up. Fucking Laid Back Camp, Sound Euphonium, Monogatari, so Shiro can quit threatening to kill me in my fucking Discord. She's a slightly intimidating individual. Anyway, point is fucking, all that sort of shit like that. So that's something I want to figure out, and Laid Back Camp is very high on the list. It's probably the one of that bunch that I want to get to the most. That isn't like Snafu Climax, but that's because I'm specifically waiting until Licorice ends. But anyway, dipshit. Anyway, so again, I went really hard in on Homeboy early on in the show, and don't get me wrong, a lot of that was still deserved. He was a shithead. He was an annoying shithead who deserved to be slapped around a little bit. I don't necessarily approve of that, but like, a big heckin' smackaroo from Suletta definitely was earned. Like, the consistent ass whoopings in the giant big robots, that was deserved. That needed to happen a little bit. I mean, all the, like, attempts on his life and the, like, him terrified he's gonna die and shit, like, that not as much. Like, that's kind of a bummer. But definitely deserved an ass kicking or two. That being said, there might have been a slightly crossed wire in regards to how I initially reacted to Homeboy. I haven't gone back and watched my initial reaction to that first episode or whatever the fuck. But I very distinctly remember watching it. So the scene where he's throwing a bitch fit in fucking Homegirl's in her little greenhousey office space, in being a bitch. And Miorine's like kind of on the ground and shit, and the Suletta's behind him. So I just really want to double check, make sure I'm definitely getting this down. Okay, yep. Like I see where I went wrong here. She's definitely a little darker though. Definitely a bit. So, yeah, again, Miorine's a fucking ghost. Miorine fucking look like me, but I thought he was gonna hit Miorine. So in that first episode, when you see the hand raised, during that first watch through, I thought that was him. It didn't occur to me, even though I literally watched that scene play out, and it's clearly Suletta slapping the shit out of him, because that's immediately what happens. In my head, that was him about to do that to Miorine, and then Suletta intercepts for the ass slap. You know? Like, that's why I went so fucking hard in on, like, hating him. Because I thought that was him. They both have slightly darker skin. Like, again, hers is a little darker. It's kind of like cherryish, like, oh, it's like a warm, kind of a darker skin. While his is like, honestly, probably close to what I got going on under this fucking lighting, at least. But like, maybe not so much under that lighting and my white balance and shit. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I feel. The point is, you see where this is the problem when you don't rewatch things immediately afterwards. And like, I obviously didn't want to get screenshots from that moment, so I didn't go back and rewatch that scene while I was getting screenshots. So I didn't see oh no, that's Suletta about to beat his ass, not him about to just fucking annihilate my girl, So it was a scene where he was already throwing shit around and being a fucking uppity little shithead, and some of us have personal trauma in regards to that shit. So when you see one, your brain immediately goes, "Oh no, I know where this event and eventually ends up." I've been here before. I've been there before. I've been all these places before. Anyway, so do we understand? So do we get what the problem was? Because no one else clarified that wasn't what happened. Because I don't know if anyone else noticed that I thought that was what happened. So in the finale, when we kept talking about that thing that I knew about without the context, which was I thought Ghoul died, Homeboy gets imploded. He doesn't, which is good now that I don't hate him completely. And do we see why I hated him a little bit more than I probably needed to at the time? Yeah, straight up thought he was going to hit Miorine, and then Suletta intercepted. Not that was Suletta winding up for the ass whooping. So, just as a bit of clarification, that was why I hated him so much more than probably more people did. And again, add on top of that I knew going in to the show about the other wind up that she does, that I knew about that, and that I straight up, again, I even say in that scene, or say in that moment, or the next episode, or whatever it was that I said, hey, maybe I now know the context for that scene, and if so, good. That was what I was implying, is I thought he dies in that scene, because I don't remember if I talked about it in the finale, but when it comes to that scene, I had seen, again, I hadn't seen that full scene. I had seen the image of Suletta covered in blood. I had seen Miorine's fucking reaction. I had seen the fucking giant aerial hand covered in blood and shit. So I knew basically what had happened. The big thing I didn't know is who was the nice strawberry jam underneath it. But when I had first encountered that, almost immediately before it, or like even connected to it, or whatever it was, I had seen Homeboy, which I assume was like the start of a clip. Like it was a long clip talking about him. That was immediately followed up by what I had seen from the spoilers of that scene. So my brain went, oh, puzzle pieces, connect. He gets smushficated. So that was what happened there with all of that. So now you know how all of this shit played out in my head in silence over the first fucking season. Yeah, so that was all how that one is. So needless to say, I don't hate him that much. I will still relentlessly make fun of him because he's an idiot, but I would like it if he can grow as a person and maybe not suffer in such agony so much, because don't get me wrong, he's gotten it pretty bad. All things considered, especially now that he's not as bad as I thought he was. Like, you know, it's just... I'd like it if he joined the squad and we treated him with... He did alright for himself, you know? He's kind of the okay one of them, you know? Like, he's not... Like, Shadik's, again, a fucking dipshit. Ellen fucking 28 and 14 or whatever the fuck, they're all assholes. Also, again, I did mention it in the description of that one episode, but not afterwards because I didn't realize it until after I'd seen the full season. But I did finally realize that the Elan who's all like up in fucking Suletta's shit, get the fuck away from my girl, you son of a bitch. She's Miorine's. You motherfucker. Anyway, point is, like, I didn't even realize that was the other Elan that Elan's talking about, and he's like, oh, we got another one, and it's like, this one's even better, because he's a total asshole like you, ha ha hee ho. I didn't realize that was the other one. I just assumed that was him, because they're both assholes. So, honestly, I feel like you should just cut out the middleman and just brought in Dickhead Prime. You know, I feel like you didn't even need the double at this point. Like, what does this motherfucker do with his time? What does he do? You just sit around all day being like, look at this fucking weird clone man I have doing shit for me. Haha. Don't fuck up or I'll laser you too. Like, what is this? What does he do? Just sit around and fucking jerk off all day? What does he mean? Anyway, fucking point. Fucking point is fuck that guy. Anyway, I don't really know what else to say. I think we've more or less run out of topics. But yeah, I wanted to just sit down and talk about all of this stuff and kind of let you guys know where I am going into this. I have to restart my computer and shit because it's going to be an asshole. But anyway, I'm finally happy to start getting into Gundam again. Which is, again, weird because it's a thing I never thought I would say. But yeah, no, again, just, I think I've really enjoyed my time with the show so far. And again, I think it's for many of the same reasons why Frank's works for me. Despite, again, also being a show about giant robots doing a big explosion and shit that I don't care about, I really like the characters. I really enjoy just seeing these people exist in their weird, fucked up existence and how they interact with each other and get along. And don't get me wrong, I hate some of them. But the ones that I like, I really, really fucking like. Yeah. So anyway, I really enjoyed season 1. Yeah, despite the things that just don't really resonate with me, the things that do resonate more than beat it out. I love that I can constantly make Ruby jokes and references because that is all I want to do with my life 90% of the time, so I appreciate the opportunity with which to do so. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. I do genuinely hope that, because it's a good time. I am a little scared going into this because I imagine there's some emotions to be had. We left off in a slightly concerning manner, but hopefully there'll be many good, positive, fun, lovable shenanigans amongst the squad. there will be many attempts. There will be many moments for me to proclaim. Nailed it, bud. Champ. You got this, buddy. You got like maybe fucking 2 to 5 minutes left of this video. You can do it. We can make it to 1 hour. Anyway, yeah, there hopefully be many chances to proclaim my undying love for these potatoes and their undying love for each other. Yeah, man, I've had a really good time, and I hope you guys have too. Again, hopefully my specific way of doing things works for all of you guys, but I know it works for me at the very least. So one can hope. Yeah, fucking, before we jump into the next stuff here in the next video, reminder as always, you can like the stuff, we have a Discord, you can always come in and talk. Again, it's a good way to keep up with me as soon as I wrap things up, even if you can't make it to like on Patreon, get things early, or if you don't want to have to necessarily wait to see my fucking delayed reaction to everything. Again, that is the one frustration about doing these in advance, but I prefer to do it this way, honestly, all things considered, because it means I can fucking actually do things. And I honestly would like to just binge all the fucking G-Witch that's out so that I can stop being fucking spoiled and start getting it on time. Though the problem is that means we're going to have like a bunch of fucking weeks worth of G-Witch on Patreon just sitting there and shit, and I have to slowly like catch everything else up to it. But hey, there's worse things in life, you know? But yeah, so, at least if I can get the first 2 done, that would be great, because that would mean I can at least, get everything all caught up, and then I can just start working on G-Witch proper. But anyway, yeah, so, fucking, yeah, I like it, and I hope you guys do too. Reminder, for all the new stuff we have going on, again, Spy Family is getting pretty close to wrapping up here. I think we have 10, 11, 12, yeah, I have 3 episodes left after where we get to, after it'll be episode 2 of this comes out. Yeah, you know, once we get there, I'll have like 3 more of those out, and then I need to figure out again what I want to do next. I need to figure out which of the season 2s I want to jump into first, because again, I think we're going to do a lot of those here moving into the next batch. But yeah, there'll be that. Just started, just started. My brain is bad. Just started my Dress Up Darling. Very fucking horny. Okay, that's a thing. I don't know why I didn't expect that going. Like, I knew it was going to be a little bit. I didn't realize it was going to be as much as it was. Fuck. Also, Kill la Kill. Same thing, but with more punching. And significantly more Erica Mendez screaming directly in my ear. And I like that, actually, quite a lot. Anyway, yeah, I'm enjoying my Dress Up Darling so far. Not completely in love with it as well as some other things, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of it. Like Anomaly and in the marine of it all. I'm curious to see where we can go from there. And again, extraordinarily horny. There's a lot of that in this next batch of stuff. It's really aggressive in comparison to what we had going on before. It was fairly fucking chill outside of like maybe a Chica has big tits joke in Kaguya. Outside of that, like, it was pretty fucking tame. And now we're here with fucking Kill la Kill and my Dress Up Darling, and fucking the gays are so fucking aggressive in Licorice Recoil and Magi Revo. Anis and Chisato have no fucking chill. It's like, I thought these two moved fairly quickly. Just, no, it's not even, Jesus Christ. Anyway, speaking of those, also started Magi Revo. It's great. Really enjoying it so far. It's very, very cute. Licorice Recoil. It took me a second to really get into it. The first 2 episodes I wasn't super in on yet, but then episode 3 I was very into, and then episode 4 I completely fell in love with it. So it is kind of great. I have like the trifecta of Yuri going on right now. I have the past with Magi Revo with Anis and Yuffie. I have the present with Chisato and Takina in Licorice. And then I have the future in Gundam with Suletta and Miorine. It's wonderful. And then I have bullshit in I have completely different fucking planet in Ruby. Give it back to me. Where's Volume 10? God damn it. I miss them already so much. Anyway. The bees buzz. Also, that's not even a good example because it wasn't even on Remnant at the time. It was in the fucking Ever After. And that's complete other bullshit. That's another... Is that even in the same universe? I don't even... That's basically heaven. I don't know what's going on. It's not true. I know what's going on. It's weird. I love it. You should go watch Ruby. This is your weekly reminder to go watch Ruby, and I'm gonna give it to you again in episode 1. Woohoo. That's right. I'm gonna give it to you. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, point is, almost made it to an hour. Okay. There's all those, first 2 episodes of, Zombieland Saga are up as well. Kind of struggling with the sub and dub of it all, because Crunchyroll's a fucking pain in my ass. Thanks. Because deaf people don't exist. Or people who just don't speak Japanese who are watching the dub. When you don't have the dubbed versions of the songs. Like a cool, fun rap battle. And you made me miss Brina Palencia saying the fucking Tweedle Fortune and Tweedle Fame line, which is fucking amazing. It's one... Like, the whole rest of that rap is like, it's fine. Like, they're having a good time. But as soon as she moves from fucking Saki, or whatever the fuck her goddamn name is, over to the other two, and just starts fucking railing into him and shit, I'm just like, oh my lord. I want Brina to fucking rap at me like that. Anyway, point is, she's great. Also, please, again, dear God in heaven, if there is one out there, I'm not particularly religious, but... If you want to, like, show yourself, please make sure that she is still the dub voice for Holo when Spice and Wolf comes back. Thank you very much. Anyway, fucking, yep, there's that. What the fuck else? Is there not another show? What other thing was Spy Family, Magirevo, Licorice, My Dress Up Darling. I guess Kill la Kill. I guess Kill la Kill was the other one I was thinking of, which is just fucking great. It's fucking nonsense, and I really enjoy it. And again, for being a big fighty thing, I don't give a shit about the fights. But the just absolute insanity of it is fucking wonderful. Also, I have a very, very aggressive appreciation for Ryuko. Anyway, so... Oh my god, thigh, why was that so loud? Anyway... that's where we are with everything right now. Again, I'm going to try and record as much G-Witch as I possibly can. I'm probably only going to be able to get a couple here done today, but, next couple of chances I get to record, I'm probably just going to go apeshit on G-Witch, since everything's more or less caught up. And by more or less, I mean literally exactly the amount it needs to be. Yeah, so that'll all be there, and I hope you guys are as excited as I am. I hope you guys appreciated this little extra video just to talk about shit. I hope it added some clarification for the things like the ghoul of it all, or my undying love for certain adorable beans. And yeah, point is, if you didn't catch on, I fucking like the show. It's pretty great. So I hope you guys will join me for more of it. Hopefully I can stop being fucking spoiled. Maybe. Yet I don't know the context as to why we're assuming that. But I didn't like it in Ruby, and I don't think I like it here. Mostly because violence to people that I like is bad.